Hey guys, what's going on and welcome back. It's another episode of the Ultimate Guide to Dark Souls 2. Today we're going to be covering the Belfry and Sinner's Rise.
Yep, so these areas, well, at least the Belfry Luna requires slightly different strategies from what we've employed from the rest of the game that we've done. However, there's a specific reasoning for that, and it's pretty much because in
The
our
gargoyles
opinion,
are a pain in the arse.
Yep. We pretty much consider the gargoyles to be one of the hardest bosses in the game. So when we were making the guide, initially we were using lightning spears, but they got nerfed. So we tried to find a strategy that would beat them easily, and
We did.
we did.
So first thing you want to do is put on that lovely greatsword. Now we're using, I believe, a plus 10 greatsword here.
I'm not actually sure what one it is, but regardless, even like a base greatsword is still decent enough. But
It's good enough, but you want to get that greatsword as upgraded as much as possible. Now the reason for that is that you can kill each gargoyle in a single combo.
Yeah, not only that, really by this point in the game, if you just farm a little bit, you can get the greatsword to at least +6 by just buying Titanite off Macduff and Lenigrast. So
Yeah.
you really have no excuse not to have at least a +6 one
Yeah.
at this point.
And that is really the minimum you would want for this area.
Yeah,
anyway,
just to make it easier, really.
Now, what you need to do is go to the Servants' Quarters Bonfire in the Lost Bastille. That's the one you get after you beat the Sentinels. If you haven't beaten the Ruined Sentinels, if you've done the skip, then you cannot come here.
Yes.
So, sorry, but then this video doesn't exactly pertain to you for at least the first 10 minutes anyway.
Now, we want to do this area of the game because it gives us the Bastille Key, and the Bastille Key allows us to...
Make the Sinner fight easier.
Yeah.
And, of course, collect some other loots on the way.
Yeah, exactly.
So this is the Belfry Luna. Now this is another area we recommend that you do in offline mode, because much like the Belfry and the Iron Keep, you can be invaded by Bellkeepers, and that makes it a little bit tougher.
Now, that guy on the desk there, he is the way you join the Bellkeeper
Yeah,
Covenant.
speak to him, and you can join the Covenant that way.
Now, like in the last video, we're just going to quickly go over the Bellkeeper Covenant. Now, you talk to him, he'll give you the Bellkeeper seal, you wear that, and like the
You
Cat
can be
Covenant,
summoned to the Belfry.
yeah, you just wear that and it'll summon you in randomly when people are in the Belfry. Now, if you rank up by just beating people that way,
And at rank 1, they'll turn around, they'll give you a Titanite slab. At rank 2, you'll get the hidden weapon sorcery, and at rank 3, you'll get the Bellkeeper's armor set, which, let's face it, makes you look like a moron.
yeah, so I mean that's the Bellkeeper Covenant in a nutshell. Obviously, we'll be doing a much more in-depth Covenant guide.
It is also a very good way to farm Titanite chunks, because I believe that is your reward for defeating anyone you invade. You get a Titanite chunk. So it's a good way, if you do want to do this area online, join the Bellkeeper Covenant and then go ahead and do this and just invade people and keep going until you've got enough chunks to max out your gear, basically.
Yeah, it is a good way of being able to max out your gear early in the game if that's what you decide that you want
Yeah.
to do. Obviously, you don't need to do that, but it does help. So now the
Bellkeepers, the
Bellkeepers.
actual Bellkeepers,
yeah, not the red invader. These the black guys.
they
These,
only drop rusted coin.
yeah,
That's it.
and I don't think the red invader drops anything.
No, the Red Invader doesn't drop anything. The only Bellkeeper that drops anything different is the Red Invader and the Belfry Sol and Iron Keep.
Right.
That's the one that drops various pyromancies. I say various, Flame Swathe and Fire Whip. That's it.
So there isn't a whole lot ends up here. Just clear this area out, and then you pull the lever to open the gate, which leads to the gargoyle boss fight.
And as ever, whenever you pull the lever, you'll probably get invaded if you haven't been already.
Yeah. Now, in case you're thinking that we missed items coming up here down at the bottom part,
We didn't.
after we
We're
did the
gonna get
gargoyle, we
We'll
jumped
look
in and
back
get
around,
them.
yeah. But I mean, don't worry about that. This is kind of what you want to do with the gargoyles. Now, the reason why we've got aromatic ooze on is that it's actually the gargoyles' weakness. The rest of it, they are pretty much neutral to, but magic is their biggest weakness. So we're going to max our health out. We're going to do everything we can to make this fight easy. So that means Green Blossom for stamina, regen, aromatic ooze for extra damage. And then we're just going to run in and we're going to two-hand this greatsword and wail on the gargoyle till it's dead, because once a gargoyle reaches half health, another one comes in. And once another one comes in, if that one goes down to half health, the third one comes in, and there are 5 of them, I think it is.
5 or 6, but regardless, you want to just go
You
bang,
can fight
bang,
up
bang.
to 5 of them at the one time.
Yeah. And you want to just dispatch them as quickly as possible, because not only that, they are on a timer, so after a certain amount of time, they'll just spawn anyway. So Basically, the whole point to this is just to do as much damage as you can and then just fuck them up as quickly as possible.
I'm not 100% sure about the timer, but I think it's once you get one of them down to like half health, another 2 can pop in.
It's like after 30 seconds, then one will just pop in regardless.
Well, anyway, we can take them out in 3 swings each. Now, a good thing to do for this one as well is, if at all possible, you can line them up to hit both of them at once.
Yeah.
Then it means you'll take them out even quicker, but don't worry, just try and take them down one at a time. If you start getting swarmed, then you can just basically run round them.
Now, funnily enough, this is actually an easier way of doing it than using the lightning spears when they were actually at full power. So
yeah, because this doesn't require you to keep track of your health and your casts.
Yeah,
it's just get in there and swing until the gargoyle's dead. If you don't have aromatic ooze for whatever reason by this point, don't worry, the greatsword does enough damage, you should be able to kill them in 4 or 5 hits at most. And as I said, if you do start getting overwhelmed, just kite them, pick your attacks very carefully, and then just proceed from there.
The fact that they die in 3 hits, and I'm pretty sure that it took more than 3 lightning spears to kill a gargoyle, then really you're doing pretty well. And
sorcerers may find this a little bit easier because, as we already mentioned, they do have a bigger weakness to magic than anything else, so maybe you guys will find this a little bit easier, but we're not doing that. We're going through for the melee option because that's probably going to be the one that most players use anyway.
Yeah.
But in terms of casting them to beat them, just keep your distance, fire away, shit like that.
Now, remember, the gargoyles are completely optional. It is useful for the Bastille Key. It does make the sinner easier, but if you just can't do them, then you don't need to do them. But in our opinion, this way does make the gargoyles really easy, but if you're not doing it this kind of strategy, then the gargoyles can be so difficult.
You can come back later on in the game when you are like ridiculously over leveled for it. That's not a problem. You can do that if you want to, but this is what we feel would be the earliest point you want to take them on. If you're following our build, this would be the earliest point you want to do it. So like as ever, it's just go through, grab up the last of the remaining items. You're gonna need to like use this bonfire definitely. Just so you guys know, there is a red phantom down below who is a pain in the arse.
Yeah, he's essentially what would appear to be some kind of weird throwback to the Capra Demon. Like, at least that's the way I saw this with the dogs.
It's more like
confined
the dogs,
space.
yeah. But I mean, the guy, I believe uses a spear, I think it is. Is that?
I think so. It's
it
called
this
Forge
guy?
of the Sinner anyway.
Yeah. I can't remember if this guy uses a spear or not. Like, we'll find out as soon as he pops up anyway. Okay, so we just had a quick check on the wiki there. According to the wiki, Virgil the Sinner has a rare chance to drop a +5 winged spear.
Yeah. So it's not like a unique drop, so it's something that, you know, it's not really an issue.
And as far as we're aware, that's his only drop. Of course, if you remember the Company of Champions, blah 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 blah, Allstone, etc etc. Make the game harder, why don't you?
Anyway, now you want to get your bow out here and try and snipe as many dogs as you can from up here, because there's a bunch of dogs down there and they can actually be quite a pain in the dick. So you might as well just take them down as easy as possible, really, because you get swarmed and nobody wants that to happen.
Now, another little quip that we found on the wiki that's quite funny is that this guy will not spawn until you go down the ladder. Apparently what you can do, and I say this as apparently because we haven't tested it, is that when you go down the ladder, he'll spawn, you climb back up, if you pop a seed of the Tree of Giants, the dogs will attack him. And apparently that kills him very fucking quickly.
So as you see, the dogs can be a bit of a pain in the arse to
so
kill, but
you just climb down the ladder a little bit, get their aggro, climb back up, and then you can try and lock onto them from up top and use the bow to kill any remaining dogs that are down below. Another thing you can do here if you want to is when you go down the ladder, you can throw an alluring skull at the other end and then go spin and win with a halberd. And that'll take out all of them. Alluring skulls are actually genuinely handy for some of the areas in this game, such as the chariot boss, where you can use them to lure out the necromancers so the chariot will kill them instead. Shit like that. Alluring skulls are actually much more handy than they ever were in DS1. No doubt.
As far as I'm aware, the only thing that alluring skulls were ever used for was killing that boar.
Yeah, I mean, that's the only thing I ever used them for anyway.
So anyway, here's Virgil, blah blah blah.
He's difficult.
Humanoid NPC, as far as I'm concerned, they're not difficult at all.
Yep, full-in humanoid NPC, rule number 5. But yeah, so he is an aggressive NPC. Let's not get that. Let's not lie here. He can be quite aggressive. He rushes you when you go to heal, shit like that. But you should be able to safely dispatch him. If you two-hand that halberd, you'll stun him with every hit. I think you stun him with every hit when you one-hand it anyway.
Yeah.
And just remember, because you're using the halberd, try and keep your distance, get that max damage like you've seen there. Huge damage spike compared to when we were hitting him at point-blank range. Went from 160 damage up to 390 odd. So there you go. and then just take out the last remaining dog, grab the Bastille Key, and I believe it should be the enchanted falchion as well, yeah.
Yeah.
So that's exactly as expected then.
Yeah, because the game always gives you an enchanted falchion. Now,
and that's it for that area.
Now this is the one thing you can use the Bastille Key for that isn't in Sinner's Rise. This is the bonfire next to Strayed, and it's just to get a petrified dragonbone and firebomb. That is pretty much
and then there's this drop here that drops you down in front of the gate if you haven't opened it for whatever reason. But yeah, that's pretty much another way to go to Sinners if you want to maybe take the long way for a shortcut.
So now we are heading back. Now they've got the Bastille Key, this, again, like we said, allows the Lost Sinner to become a little bit easier, because basically you fight the Lost Sinner in the dark without the Bastille Key, but if you have the key, then you can light the area up, and it means that your lock-on distance is longer. Now, really that's not so much of an issue, because the Last Sinner, or Lost Sinner, I always get fucked up, but regardless, the Sinner isn't particularly difficult anyway, especially when you compare it to like the Smelter Demon or whatever. You can block all the Sinner's attacks. Yeah,
there is one thing about the Sinner, like this is strictly an NG plus sort of thing, because once the Sinner goes down like half health, 2 red phantoms pop in. That's when you do want the added lock-on distance, because it means you can target them from further away, because they only use range, which makes them a little bit harder to get close to using melee. But overall, you shouldn't have any problem if you don't want the Bastille Key, if you don't want to light the torches to make the Sinner room, like to illuminate the Sinner room so that you can get a better lock on, then don't worry about it. Yeah. It's not 100% crucial to the fight. You can still beat the Sinner without it.
No, I mean, like we said, you can block all the Sinner's attacks. The only issue with the Sinner is if it does hit you, it does hit like a truck.
You can parry the Sinner, just like the Sinner can parry you as well. So just keep that in mind. Yeah, the Sinner parries but cannot riposte. So what happens instead is that you get parried, and then if the RN Jesus says so, then the Sinner will attack you. Well, you're in that.
Generator.
Yeah. Random number generating Jesus, the RN Jesus.
Yeah. Okay, so now we're just going to head off to the Sinner, really.
And we just checked the burn there just to make sure we'd burnt that Sibylline Bone Dust that we got from the Iron Keep. And of course, check for your Estus shards, and just make sure you're doing this every time you go back to Majula, every time you talk to the the Emerald Herald. Every time you talk to the Emerald Herald, then just check in case you've maybe found an Estus shard you forgot about, something like that. Give yourself as much of an advantage as possible.
Now remember, when you warp to the Sinner Bonfire, you'll be immediately granted by 3 aggroed enemies for some fucking reason.
Yeah,
apparently that was a good idea.
It's the same as the Seldora Bonfire, where there's spiders in the exact same room, and if you stand up from it, you can't rest until you kill them, which is fucking retarded. But regardless, moving on, not hating on the game, not today anyway. These guys are quite easy to dispatch. You've got that sick as fuck halberd run attack, that's the spin to win, so I mean, these guys should go down about 2 swings, but it seems the first swing the distance wasn't timed, or the distance wasn't right, but yeah, like you can see here, 2 shots, the fucking overhand and then the poke. The poke is the only attack in the halberd that you don't actually have to judge your distance for, because of how far back it thrusts from. You'll always do max damage with that, as far as I'm aware.
So as we didn't pick up the items the last time we came here, we just used the bonfire. Remember to pick up this soul packet here, and then
some of these items you guys might have picked up the first time around here.
Yeah, which is fine.
As per usual, we're going to pick up the items when we're actually doing that area.
Yeah, if we need to just visit an area for one thing, we're not going to pick that up.
Yeah, exactly. So round here is Human Effigy, and then going back into the room where you'll be greeted by 3 Royal Swordsmen again, all wielding crossbows.
And all incredibly easy, just backstab. Yeah,
you can just strafe around them, get the backstab. You'll kill them in 1 backstab, guarantee it. And then you just got to take the lift down to the Sinner area.
Now, initially we had to come to the Sinner quickly before we went to the Belfry Luna, because we had to, there's a Faris Lockstone down here, and at the point that we thought we should have been doing this at, we had to come down here, get the Faris Lockstone, and then go
backtrack. But now with the recent Faith nerf, the build has changed, so we're going to
do this at a different order. So
yeah. So you want to roll off here, because this is lacerating knives. These are the exact same as throwing knives, apart from they do less damage, but as a counteraction to that, they also inflict bleed, which, you know, it's not great.
So the Lost Sinner is also a boss where you get Lucatiel to help. Now, again, as Lucatiel is a complete liability, we are not going to be summoning Lucatiel until we've cleared this area of enemies.
Yeah, like, just take that as standard. Whenever you're summoning an NPC, clear out the area beforehand.
Yeah, you want them to be at max health for the boss, especially if you're trying to do Lucatiel's quest like we are.
No doubt about it. Now, these are enhanced undead. Now, what these guys can drop is the Bellkeeper Bow, the Bellkeeper Shield, and they can also drop the Malformed Skull. All their drops are apparently at a 5% chance.
Or, we don't even know what the fuck that means.
I mean, that
they're
could
rare
mean
regardless. Now, you can also backstab these guys.
Yes.
Seems to be having a hard time.
There we go. Now, the problem with these guys is they have this really crazy tail attack that is just amazingly difficult to dodge.
Oh, they've got Bellkeeper
Bellkeeper
Shield.
Awesome. So, Sublime Bone Dust again.
So you definitely want to pick that up.
Yep, because that's your +4 Estus. As well as there is an Estus. No, it's Petrified Bone that's at the end of the center. I always confuse that, but there is an Estus shard here, is there not?
Maybe?
I can't remember. Oh, no, wait, never mind, it's not here. But these guys, as you can see, they're relatively alright to take care of. You can't just like bait that one attack over and over again. What a few people do is they aggro them, they bait them back into the room where Lucatiel's summon is, and they send a lift up. These guys, when they attack you, they can fall down the gap and immediately die. You can do it that way as well, but they are incredibly weak to just going for that backstab. It's not entirely difficult to pull off.
Yeah. So there's another action wall here, which is completely unapparent, and whoever the fuck figured that out, then well done.
Now, I'm convinced there's someone who's just going along every single wall in this game with his X button taped down.
Yeah.
Because there's no way you would find that unless you were like, fuck it, let's try.
And there was also an item directly behind us. I'm pretty sure we pick it up, but in case we don't...
We will. It's because I thought I'd aggroed this guy that I just continued on fighting.
Oh, I think that was it, yeah. But anyway, Enhance Undead, not particularly difficult, but...
They're tanky for this point in the game, but I mean, if you judge your distance right with a halberd, then, you know, you'll take them out in like maybe 4 or 5 hits.
And the fact that you can backstab them makes it, you know...
Yeah, even though they're not exactly humanoid, you can still backstab them for some reason. Or just because they need to make this game easier for whatever reason.
So there's got to be some more of those...
sandbag, mummy things.
Yeah. Such a pain in the ass, especially like for an area where your mobility's lowered. Yeah.
The good thing though is that the halberd, when you lock on, it attacks where you lock on like the greatsword. You have to aim that, and it also has a downward striking attack, which means even if they start to jump, you're still going to clip them.
Now another thing is that there's some items in these rooms. There is 8 rooms, 4 at the bottom and 4 at the top. The only rooms that actually have items are the 2 on the furthest away left. So there's an item in here and an item in the room below, but there's no items in any other room.
Yep, and you need the Bastille Key to get these items, just so you guys know, so that's a fire seed.
So again, if you're going pyromancy, that's something that you want.
Yep, because Rosabeth and Carillion can both upgrade your pyromancy flame at this stage, which is very fucking good.
And then we just pop in here to get a Faris Lockstone.
Yep, now be careful because there are mummies aplenty down here. There are a lot of them, so just... try and take advantage of the halberd, its overhead, or even if you two-hand it, like right here, if I two-handed this and would have just went in heavy, it'd have killed all of them, but these guys do equipment damage. That is what the little fog that comes out of them is. It's all to do with your equipment breaking, that's what they do. As well as they do a significant amount of damage in terms of just hitting you, and they do knockback, which means that if they want to, they can stun lock you if the RNGesus says so anyway.
So now we're going to go back and get Lucatiel because the time is right for that, because we've killed all the enemies.
Because everything's cleared out. There's nothing else ahead to worry about, so it's just Lucatiel, go for the boss now. This is actually probably the easiest boss to beat with Lucatiel.
Yeah, I'd say so.
I mean, it's a tie between this and Flexo Sentry. Really, the only trouble you're going to have with Lucatiel's quest will be Smelter Demon. If he just constantly aggroes on her, then he might be able to kill her quicker than you can kill him. Yeah. As well as the Rotten, which is just a complete minefield to even attempt that with Lucatiel.
Yeah, I mean, obviously you can attempt it if you want, but we don't recommend it all.
No,
you'll see with
the other three bosses for Lucatiel's questline are far easier. Remember, Lucatiel only has to survive 3 out of the 4 boss fights she's available for. Yeah. So don't worry, you can get her. If she dies, you can just warp out at the boss using a homeward bone, and you can rest at the bonfire, retry. It's that simple. You can do it again. Warp out the area, warp back, whatever you want to do just to reset everything. You can summon Lucatiel again if Lucatiel dies. Don't worry. As long as you don't beat the boss, then you can reattempt it.
Part of Lucatiel's tracking is kind of fucked.
Lucatiel's tracking is awful. Thankfully they patched her. She used to just walk off. She used to have this random thing where she would walk off of the pier in No Man's Wharf randomly, and that would end the challenge. So yeah, whenever she's fucking ready.
So now we're going to go and light the other pauldron.
Hold on, Lucatiel, and I'll hold your fucking hand.
Such a liability.
You know what she needs? She needs that thing in Castlevania, the new one, where you hold L2 and it tells you which way to go. She needs that.
I know. I mean, what is this? Dark Souls or a fucking Crash?
I know.
You decide.
This is also a problem with the fucking NPCs. This shit here, where, see if she was standing at the other side of that door when it opened, just the door opening could have knocked her off as well.
Yep.
It's so annoying. I don't know why they... Look at this shit. Why did they follow... So, thanks for blocking me in. Look at that. Almost walked off the edge herself just because she locked us in a room.
Such a bitch.
I don't know how they've managed to fuck up NPCs so badly in this game.
Okay, so as ever, we're going to show you doing the Lost Sinner solo. And, you know, showing you doing it with Lucatile if there is an NPC, just so you can see the comparison.
Like, we're not going to summon for a boss that you don't get a summon for. Like, you don't get a summon that the game gives you anyway. So, as you can see, room has lit up because you've lit the cauldrons on either side. Now, it's very, very, very simple to see the Sinner. It's very easy to take her down, as if it makes a difference anyway, but she is parryable.
Basically, the Sinner has an attack where she'll jump over you. Now, if you don't have the flames lit, that will end up taking your
That'll break lock immediately, and what that means is you won't pivot to face, which means she'll slash you in the back where you aren't blocking.
Yeah, so you need to watch out for that. But as you can see, you can just block pretty much all of her attacks. They do a lot of stamina damage, but she only seems to have 2-hit combos.
Yeah, she doesn't have anything greater, I don't think. I mean, she might 3-hit, she might not, I don't know. But, yeah, she's not a difficult boss. I'm trying to remember what her parry stance looks like, because she does have a stance for when she's going to parry. In the same way, like, the skeletons and shit would sit with, like, their shield and their sword across it.
Yeah.
And that would be them going for the parry, something like that. But, yeah, so this boss fight isn't entirely difficult. She's quite easy to roll past her attacks. You can block all of her attacks. It's not a difficult boss fight.
The best time to heal is definitely when she jumps over you, because she... or even at the end of some of her combos, you know, you can tell that some of them actually take a long time to just stop, like that one there. So there would be a great time to pop a life gem or take an Estus.
Yeah, and she isn't difficult, as we've said. She's got a lot of recovery time after her combos. I mean, the most annoying thing she can do is finish a combo, you roll behind her, go to heal, and she backsteps, because you'll take damage from the backstep that she does. That hop back, you'll take damage. But I mean, that is it. That is really the only thing about the Sinner that you might have a bit of a problem with, is the backstep hop thing that she does. That's it. She keeps up the aggression every now and again, but she's easy.
Now, she is
weak to magic.
Yep.
She's neutral to lightning and dark, and as expected, she's strong against fire. I mean, as expected, because of her equipment, she's strong against fire, because the gauntlets, or the shackle, or whatever the fuck you want to call it, actually improves your pyromancy damage. The penal set in general has good fire defense as well.
So you can see it's actually fairly easy to dodge her attacks as well. Obviously, if you get hit, you're taking quite a bit of damage.
That was a 3-hit combo.
Yeah, maybe she only follows up with the third if she hits with the first 2.
I think
maybe.
so. I think it seems to be the same with most bosses. They don't actually have a set 4-hit combo. It's like only if they hit you with one of the swings they will go into the full combo. Otherwise, it's just a sort of partial combo. But yeah, I mean, we really should. I really want to try and like see how many bosses in this game you can parry, because there is a ridiculous amount of them.
Rolling backwards is also, it seems to be fairly decent in terms of getting openings for healing. So really, you shouldn't have an issue with the Sinner. Like, the only reason we done the Sinner at this point in the game was because the gargoyles are much harder than her.
And of course, we had to wait to this point as well, due to the fact that we want to show you what happens when you illuminate the Sinner's room using the Bastille Key.
Yeah.
And of course, there's items that you need the Bastille Key for, and this is getting every item in the game. So instead of backtracking, coming here twice, we just thought, screw it, we'll do it all in the one take.
And this is us with Lucatile. As you can see, obviously, because you've got a summon, she'll have a lot more health, but that's fine because she takes like a lot less aggro from you. Do you know what I mean? Like, you give her less aggro, whatever. But
now, what you can do, by the way, if you've managed to at this point, I don't know when it is you get it, but the red eye ring is something you can do. If you wear the red eye ring, you will take more aggro than your summon, which means you can guarantee Lucatile's safety in this fight if you're not too confident with the Sinner and like how Lucatile performs, because as you can see, she's lost about 1/5 of her health already. But the Sinner is almost dead anyway, so, you know. But, like, you can wear the red eye ring for any sort of, you need to keep the NPC summon alive for X amount of boss fights, you can use the red eye ring instead, you can take the aggro, make things a little bit simpler. But that's pretty much it, and if Lucatile fucks off, then you can open these doors and go grab the Fragrant Branch of Yore, that's what it is.
Not that we need it at this point, although this was the way the guide used to be the first point where you'd actually get a Fragrant Branch of Yore, because we've done this even before.
And
runs before Huntsman's Corpse.
Yeah, and this, in that chest is where you get Elizabeth Mushroom, which is basically a life gem on steroids.
Yeah.
It lasts a lot longer, it heals a bit quicker as well. They are very handy, not as good as they were in DS1, but they're still good anyway.
So I mean, that's pretty much it for the Belfry and the Lost Sinner. Like, there isn't a whole lot to these areas. There's no real NPCs. There's not that many, like, no new enemies aside from the Enhanced Undead. But obviously, it's a lot of easy souls, and of course, you need to actually beat the Lost Sinner to progress in the game. So.
No, not necessarily, but I mean, it is helpful to do it this way. Like, the way to progress is to beat the 4 old ones, aka the 4 lords. Again, anybody else getting Dark Souls 1 vibes?
Yep.
Or get 1 million soul memory, which speedrunners do that because it's easier to just farm the rotten using bonfire aesthetics, but that's not going to be included in the guide, of course, because that's
a speedrunner technique.
Yeah, that's different. That's completely different. So this is Gilligan. Now, we're going to get him to set up his ladder. Just because I got the soul spare at the moment.
And the next part of the guide is, of course, the gutter.
Here's a problem I have with Gilligan. 4 cutscenes for a fucking ladder, but some bosses that look insanely good don't get a single fucking cutscene.
Yeah.
Like, also, the bobsled in the DLC that you take to the Frigid Outskirts, no cutscene for that, but 4 cutscenes for a ladder.
So now that we've got the 12,000 ladder of him, if you talk to him, he'll give you the melee scimitar. And, I mean, that's pretty much his quote-unquote quest.
Yeah, that's
obviously
him done.
We also want the longest ladder as well, because that's the ladder that you need to get certain items, but otherwise there's, like, you can get all the other items without his other ladders, but you need that long ladder to get other items, so that's why we're doing it.
Yeah, but and then of course, as ever, last thing to do, level up.
We also got to have a Sublime Bone Dust as well, so...
So that's us now back to 40 health, and now it's just getting endurance up to 40, and then we can spend these points in other things such as adaptability, such as getting the Faith and Int requirement back to the base for Dark Weapons, so we get the full minute duration, shit like that.
Yeah, I mean, not only that, like, we are over level 100 at this point in the game, and we're not even halfway through the game.
Exactly.
So, we're making pretty good progress for the actual character itself.
And now it's just switching everything back to where it was. Now, it's just at this point you guys can do what you want with the build, because I mean, once we get 40 endurance as well as 40 health, then after that we're just going to make the build basically a little bit better than what it is right now in terms of getting the dark weapon advances and shit like that. At this point you guys can do what you want. Like, if you want to PvP, you probably want to stop around about soul level 150 just to be respectful of other people who stay at the meta, but of course because it's soul memory it doesn't matter really.
Yeah,
but
we generally just stick for 150 just to be safe, because
it doesn't matter
that's
anyway.
how we like to play, really. But
it doesn't matter anyway.
At this point all we're doing is just upgrading our equipment.
Yeah,
like we said.
We've got some spare souls, so we're just going to go up with our equipment, we're going to get some iron arrows.
Which you will need for the coming areas, so you might as well get iron arrows if you've got a few souls spare.
And of course, make sure, by the way, guys, that you've got those fire arrows. Make sure you haven't fucking used them for no reason at all.
Yeah.
You do need those fire arrows for the next few areas in the game. Just so you guys
very
are aware.
important.
They are.
Well, it's not very important, but it is pretty much the main reason why you'd want fire arrows for like 2 areas coming up. So
yes, the main reason why you want fire arrows in a PvE sense, anyway.
Yeah, there's like 2 areas where fire arrows are incredibly useful, and you don't get fire arrows generically until after these 2 areas, so you want to just save the ones
you don't unlock the merchant until after these areas. Going our way anyway, you don't get them until after these areas. You can, of course, like, because of the way Dark Souls works out, you can do areas at different times. You can, like, we're going to areas next that you can leave until the end, and you can go through Shaded Woods instead of going down the well. It's really up to you guys what you want to do, but we're going to go down the well because overall it's the easier way to go for this soul level, and it means we're actually better off for the next areas. But that's it once again, guys. As ever, box on the left for the last episode, which will take you to Iron Keep, and box on the right for the next episode, where it should be Grave of Saints.
Yep.
Links on screen, Facebook, Twitter, update on a regular basis, Twitch for live streams, which are always a laugh. And as it says at the top, if you want to donate, there is a donation link down below. But do not feel obligated. View, comment, like, subscribe to the channel, anything like that, more than enough.
And that's pretty much it for this episode. So, I hope it was enjoyable, hope it was informative. If there's anything we missed, remember to tell us, and we'll see you in the next part.
See you guys later.
Bye.